Welcome in, psychology students. Professor Zeeb here. We're going to do a short lecture on the specific techniques of persuasion. So basically, this section is going to cover some different strategies that people could employ to get you to do something or to change your attitude. A lot of these more specifically apply to buying a product. So a lot of you have probably encountered these. Like if you're at the mall trying to buy something, for example, or even if you're a salesperson, maybe you even use some of these yourself. Okay, so let's go through some of our classic ones here. So we go to the specific strategies of persuasion. Our first one is simply called the old foot in the door technique. With this particular strategy, the salesman is going to open up with a modest request first, and then go for the larger request or go for the kill, so to speak. In other words, they're trying to get a bigger sale. This could be someone who's trying to get commission or bring in business for the company. So this may be something like, let's say you go to buy a new cell phone. You're in the market for a cell phone. You walk in the store and you tell them, hey, I'm interested in this model. Hey, yeah, you have the model. And they basically start off with a decent deal. So here's the cell phone for this price. And so you agree to that, so they've got you basically. And now they say something like, hey, you know what? For $20 more, you could get unlimited texting. Or they offer some sort of bigger price value to sort of get you to buy that bigger item. So the point is that what they're doing is they're trying to sway you to spend more money. And what we found is that with the research, it shows that people are more likely to buy this if they kind of approach it in this sort of fashion than starting off with this larger request. In other words, if they started off with this big price with all these items, it may seem like a lot. But if they kind of slowly work it up, you've agreed to the phone and just a few dollars more, you can get this. It really seems like a reasonable deal, and we know that people can be swayed by that. So that is called the foot in the door, because theoretically they have gotten their foot in the door with the modest request and now they're going to go for more money. So you got to watch out for that. Our next one is called the door in the face technique. Our textbook refers to this as contrast effects. Basically what's happening here is when you see the different deals, you see the contrast of the two different deals, and it may appear to make the second deal better. So more specifically, the salesman starts off with this outrageous initial request, which they know you're probably going to deny. They then follow that up with a more reasonable one. In other words, they're going to start off pretty strong, knowing that most people could not do that or will not do that, and then they follow it up with a more reasonable offer. The book is a great example of this, where let's say you're in the market to buy a house, and the realtor may start off by showing you the most expensive homes first, the dream homes that unfortunately you could never afford. And they know that. And so after they do that, they then take you to a modest request or modest sort of valued house that seems more reasonable. And now when you compare that to the original homes, which were way out of your budget, it seems more doable, and therefore you're probably able to do it. So in other words, by using these contrast effects, it makes that second deal seem a lot more reasonable when we compare it to the outrageous initial offer. It's kind of like when you go to buy a cell phone once again, they're going to start off with the most expensive model, knowing you probably, few people could probably afford it. So then they follow it up with another one that's more reasonable, and it seems a lot cheaper and doable in comparison, and they know that people are probably going to buy it. So research has showed that it's almost as if it's a compromise. The salesman's trying to work with you and save you money, and we know that the customers are more likely to buy that product, once again, if they kind of approach it in that fashion. Next, we go to the old bait and switch technique. And so when I think of this one, to me, this is the car salesman. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this when you're buying a car. So what's happening here is they start off with this extremely favorable deal, like, bargain of a lifetime that you can't pass up. Once they got you interested in that and they've, have you commit to that, they then will switch it on you and make additional demands that you didn't see coming. It's kind of like when you're going to buy a car. You may see this amazing low sticker price out on the lot. Wow, I've never seen this car so cheap. This incredible deal. I have to sort of buy it. And so once you go into the office, you sign all the paperwork. At this point, you're emotionally invested because you want that car so bad. They may come back in the office and go, oh, you know what? Oh, I forgot. My manager just told me that there are some special fees with this particular model. So if you just pay those, then we can get you the car. So in other words, it's kind of like, why the hell did you not tell me that in the beginning? They're sort of switching it on you. They've got you hook, line, and sinker, and now that they've got you emotionally committed, then the extra fees start coming out. So a lot of times, salesmen will do this purposely. I mean, it sounds so cruel and mean, but they know it works. They know that they can get people, they can lure them in the store with these low bargains that are advertised, for example, and then once you're down there, they may say, oh, wow, we just ran out of that product. I'm so sorry, purposely. And we have this sort of a comparable model. It's a little bit more money, but we have it right now. And so we know that people will probably go for that. So that's another thing you have to sort of watch out for, is they're purposely kind of setting you up with that bait and switch technique. The last one we're going to talk about is the that's not all technique. You've probably seen those silly commercials where it's, it's wait, there's more kind of thing. So a lot of these refer to those commercials that we've all seen on TV, and it may go something like, buy the Shred-O-Matic right now. It slices, it dices, it can even do your laundry. This amazing product is only $19.99. But wait, there's more. If you act now, we will throw in this additional bonus gift as a sort of offer to help the deal. So in other words, you've seen these commercials where they offer you the product, and if you act now and you you agree to purchase the item, they will throw in this extra bonus gift. In my opinion, they're often junk anyway. So the problem with this is, a lot of people don't know, is that they were going to give you all that stuff anyway. So in other words, they're sort of building up the deal to make it seem better and better and better by offering these additional bonus gifts. But the problem is they were going to give that to you anyway. So it seems like you're getting more for your money now because you're acting now, they're going to throw in this bonus gift, and we know that people can easily fall into that trap and are easily swayed by that. So in other words, research has demonstrated that people very easily are swayed by this because the deal seems sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. So once again, you just have to keep in mind that they're approaching it in a very specific way to get you interested and to get you to call and get your sale, or your money, in other words, and you have to kind of look out for some of those strategies. All right, guys, so that's just a sort of an introduction of some of the popular specific strategies of persuasion, and if you would please move on to the next step in the class.